Every Thursday at 6:15 on Goliath Radio. With Azama-Edwards, retired city clerk, former city commissioner, City of Daytona Beach. The Truth with Gwen.
Stan, you've been sitting much too long, Welcome, 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 welcome to Truth, a radio program designed with you in mind, a program whose sole purpose is to empower you, our listeners. For information leads to knowledge, and knowledge is, you got it, power. And as always, I want to empower you to take control of your life, those things that impact you, your family, and your community. As always, too, I want you to go to the website at www.gwen-truth.com so you can access all those resource listings that will give you important links to your municipalities, your county agencies, state agencies, federal agencies, and advocacy groups. Go there, too, so you can chime in on the poll that we have going, and that poll is asking you about the Affordable Care Act, the Patient Protection Affordable Care Act, affectionately known as Obamacare. Do you believe that it will help people get affordable quality care? Yes or no? As has been stated, I'm Gwen Azama-Edwards, former city commissioner, retired city clerk, City of Daytona Beach, author, minister, St. John Missionary Baptist Church Incorporated, community volunteer, a person, regular person just like you, and a person who, like you, cares about this community, cares about their family, cares about what the state of our community will be like as our children age, as we age, and as our children age. So, like you, I care about being empowered and taking control. That doesn't mean I overstep my boundaries in terms of telling our elected officials how to do their, well, yeah, I gotta change that. Yeah, I do tell them sometimes how to do their jobs. And I do tell them too sometimes when I think they're going a little astray. This is truth, right? This is truth. And so we want to speak truth. And you know, that's all about being empowered, because we are citizens, and in America we have freedoms and the freedom to speak. And you know, the great thing about human beings as opposed to other animals is that we also have the capacity to reason. That means that we can think and we can come up with solutions to issues, to problems, and get an opportunity to actually, depending upon our status, where we stand, see some of those things, those solutions put into fruition. That was the test to make sure everything's going as it should. So, I'm all about empowering you so that you can do the same thing I do. Speak up, stand up, speak up, and speak out for those things that are truly important, you know. I'm not saying, you know, do anything that really and truly is going to be, really, there are things that people are doing that are today or that are very disrespectful. And I'm speaking now to our older people, but I'm speaking more so to the younger people, because I truly want to apologize to all of you for the terrible, terrible role models that we have created for you. And we're not the kind of role models that our parents were. You know, they knew how to be respectful. They knew how to be gracious. They knew how to not personalize so much of what goes on as with the government and everything else, because you can dislike something, the way a person acts, without disliking them as a person. And you can talk about the habits and the things that they do that you don't like and you want to see changed, and work to see that change without getting personal and derogatory and the like concerning people. And that's how we have failed you young people So for that, I apologize. And as we go through tonight, you know, my guest and I have on our orange and black because this is Halloween, October 31st, 2013. This is Halloween. And, you know, truthfully, as a Christian, I learned several years back not to celebrate Halloween because it really does not mean, if you're a child of God, it does not mean it's working great. It does not mean what some people may think it means. So we can change the meaning, though, which hopefully is what we're about as people are out, you know, with their different outfits on, even though a lot of them are witches and all that other kind of ghoulish stuff. But we also can celebrate acting foolish and dressing crazy and just having fun, you know, having fun. And we're hopeful that everyone will ensure that they'll watch out for the young people that are out there and their parents, because a lot of parents are walking with their children. I used to do that with my children, so I'm glad that you're doing that because that's important these days especially. And let's watch out for our young people, and let's make sure too that we give these young people, if you're giving them candy, you're giving them fruit and the like, that you're not doing something crazy with the stuff, okay? That crazy stuff where they put razor blades in fruit and all of that kind of stuff. We don't want that to happen. The young people, if you are getting fruit, make sure that you go, because a lot of law enforcement have stations that are set up. I know they used to do it at the malls, and hopefully they are still, where you can go and you can get the stuff x-rayed to see if there's, you know, any foreign objects in any of the fruit that you get. Actually, when I walk my kids, a lot of stuff we dumped. Okay, we said thank you as we went door to door, but once we got home, if it didn't look right, it was dumped. And I would suggest that to parents and children too. If you have any suspicions at all about what you've gotten, just dump it. All right, better to be safe than sorry. Okay, now that's my bid for that, and shout out to all of you guys that are celebrating the fun of the holiday, which is really, like I said, a time to dress crazy and act crazy and still be respectful. Young people, still be respectful, and older people, still be gracious in terms of what you do for the young people as they go door to door. Now, my guest tonight and I are going to talk about something that's very near and dear to me. And I know it is, and or it should be, to all of you as well. And we've talked continually, Kathleen, about the fact that America has a terrible and a serious obesity problem. And what we're going to talk about is a way of kind of helping with that. My guest tonight is Kathleen, and she told me how to pronounce her name, so I'm going to say Zurenko. Okay, all right, I get it. And she is a health coach, and that's key and that's important because she helps people get healthy and fit and be whole, and that's mind, body, and soul, I'm sure. But that's what we're going to talk about tonight, and hopefully you guys, as you wait for it to get darker, because then you can listen to us until it gets dark, and then you can go, you know, do your little door to door. But being a health coach, Kathleen, number one, what is it that got you into doing this? Because a lot of times, you know, people have a calling on their life, but they don't really get into it until something happens, and it kind of redirects what it is that they're about and that they're into. What got you into being, wanting to be healthy and fit?
Yes. Well, 1990, I thought I was taking good care of myself all through the years, and I was meditating and doing what I call my daily PMS, prayer, meditation, and sitting in the silence. And I thought I had it all together. I thought I was doing a pretty good job. And I was in a job at the time that I really didn't like, and I kept saying, oh my goodness, I would give anything to be out of this job for 6 months. Well,
be careful what you ask for. That's what my husband says.
Be careful, because I got 7 months off the job and ended up giving, well, I inadvertently gave my kidney. I had kidney cancer. I was diagnosed with renal carcinoma, and they took out the kidney, they took out the adrenals that sit on top of the kidney, and they took out one rib so they can get in and get everything out. And so I was off work for 7 months. And this helped me really redirect my thinking about, what am I doing? How do I need to take care of myself better? Something isn't right. And I remember the surgeon said, well, there are 3 things you won't be doing anymore that you may or may not have been doing. You can't play football. Well, I didn't really care about that because I never played football. And he said, you won't be able to donate blood. And, well, okay, I can't do that. And he said, you won't be eating meat much anymore either. So I'll eat maybe chicken or fish once in a while, maybe fish more so than chicken, maybe chicken once a month, but I'm basically vegetarian.
And this is as a result of as you shared of a health issue that you had to deal with. Now you and I were talking about being careful about how food is labeled, because there's food that's labeled organic, there's food that's labeled, even when we were talking about the fish, and I was asking you about the genetically
genetically modified organisms.
Oh,
so
wow.
GMO foods, and now we see packages in the fish department labeled farm raised, that it makes it sound like it's a wonderful thing, but farm raised means it's fed the grain and all the GMOs that are given to the chickens.
Which means you may not be getting it directly, but indirectly you're getting that stuff that's not good for you.
Yes, yes. Yeah, and it's all processing and chemicals and things that we don't need. We really need to eat the way our ancestors ate, the way food came out of the ground. It came out of the ground without processing. It came out of the ground without a label, and we really need to get back into that.
Now, you're a health coach, and you have a master's degree, and if you talk about what you have your master's degree in, number 1, and number 2, what does it mean being a health coach? What does that mean that you do?
Well, the MCS, I know you asked me about the MCS next to my name. That's a master's degree in consciousness studies, and I took a lot of philosophy courses, spirituality, sociology, psychology, philosophy, and anything really pertaining to the mind and how the mind works, why we think the way we think, how we think the way we think, how do we get there, what are our thoughts about, what is thinking. So it really takes it to another level as far as the thought process. And as far as health coaching, it's maybe more of life coaching, where I bring a lot of health modalities into that so people can take good care of themselves, because how we do life really is based on how we take care of our health every day. And we really need to be health conscious, because there's so much out there. I heard you talking about Halloween. I like to give the kids little bags of pretzels. You know, there are some healthy snacks out there, little bags of crackers, things like that, the little boxes of raisins. So we can get
That's what I used to do too,
yeah.
So
we can do that.
Now, in terms of your being a health coach and the program that you have your master's in, why do we think as we think? You know, the reason that when I got my undergraduate degree and I got it in psychology, and initially I wanted to be a psychologist or a psychiatrist, because I wanted to understand, why is it that people think the way they do? And I remember studying and learning that there really is a very thin line, people don't understand, between rational and irrational behavior, between sanity and insanity. And though people get concerned about the few people who go insane or off their rocker, as they like to call it, but I find it interesting that more people don't.
That's interesting. Yeah, very good point. And you know, what separates us from the animal kingdom is that we have choice. You know, the animals choose what to eat for survival, period. That's what they do. They're looking to survive. Where we have a choice as to what color socks to wear and what color shoes to wear and what we're going to wear that day and what we're going to eat. So that separates us. So we have choice. And when we take responsibility to know that we really have a choice in everything we do, then we see how our life can change, and we really can make our life a better place, and in turn making the community a better place, just by the choices that we make on a daily basis. Where to go, who to spend time with, what type of work to do, and the list just goes on and on.
You know, one of the reasons I think that I tell people, even if I had a chance to do it all again and to be young again, I wouldn't want to be, because our young people are faced with so many choices. And we as human beings today are faced with so many choices. I was thinking even in terms of health care, because you know, I'm signing up, I go on to Medicare next year, and I'm signing up for the additional stuff that you don't get in Medicare, people. You know that, you know, like additional stuff you need with your dental and your eye care, and you know, even hearing if you wanted to do that. But I was signing up for that, and people had screwed up some stuff. And I started thinking to myself, you know, oh God, who wants to go through all these changes and this, that, and the other? And I thought to myself, you know, this is one of the reasons why people are upset about the healthcare thing, because now they may have to make some other decisions about who, what, where, and then you got to go through everything that everybody says they offer and all this kind of stuff. And it's everything that's involved in that cafeteria style of choices. And it's like, who wants to deal with that? And I've noticed that when I was younger, I thought, you know, old people, you know, they just hate to, you know, they don't want to deal with anything, and they, you know, and they just don't want to deal with any change and all of that. And I'm starting to understand it, you know, as I'm getting older. I don't want to deal with a lot of changes or anything either. And, you know, all of the many choices that are there. And that's why somebody like a life coach really comes in handy, because you help people, I would think, to work their way through not only the minutiae of life, because there's a lot of minutiae out there, people, but also major decisions. And sometimes I think it's the major decisions, many times you can work your way through. It's that minor stuff that comes in daily that really can throw you for a loop and just mess you up.
Yeah, that's interesting that you say that, Gwen. I teach meditation as well. I've been meditating regularly since 1975, and I've been teaching it since 1995. And I teach three different types of meditation, which are the three different types of meditation I engage in. One is transcendental meditation. Very briefly, that just takes you to a very deep place when you're just quieting the mind and just listening. We like to say listening to that still small voice, because when we take ourselves to that very deep place, and it doesn't happen overnight, learning how to meditate, it's like a diet. You know, you try a diet, well, it didn't work overnight, so, or, you know, the gym didn't work, I went once. You know, it's not like that. You know, you really have to stay with it and really get the full experience of it, so that you can quiet the mind and just listen. So then we'll know what choice to make. We won't be so confused with all this stuff that's just thrown at us. Well, a friend said this, and the radio said that, and the TV said this, and the newspaper said something else, and we could get crazy from it. So when we quiet the mind and just go within, we'll hear that answer, and we'll know what decisions to make, what choices to make. So that's one meditation. Another is a guided meditation, where it might be something where we'll talk and put you in front of a waterfall, or maybe at the beach or in the woods, and go into that real still, quiet place as well, and just appreciating the outer beauty. And then there's a mindfulness meditation that we use with a raisin. And it takes about 20 or 30 minutes to go through this type of meditation, where each student will examine the raisin and what it looks like and feels like and smells like, and then I have to put it up to their ear. Are you hearing anything? And smelling it. So really, almost like becoming one with the raisin, getting that close to something as small as a raisin. Being that mindful. It's just about mindfulness. So that when we do make these decisions out of all this cafeteria type of choice that we have, so we'll know to choose what's right for us. What might work for you may not work for me, or someone else. We're all different.
Transcendental meditation, I have met individuals who actually work with that program with other people, and they found it to be very useful. Are there people that you have worked with the three different types of medication? I know it depends upon the person, and I would think that you might even be able to use all three at a certain point in time. But which one have you found, let's say, for even the age group of seniors, which may work better? Or is there
that's
such
a good point. Well, personally, I like transcendental meditation the best. That takes me to a very, very deep place, and there'll be many times where it goes so deep when I come out of it, I know that once I open my eyes, I'm usually in my home, but I have meditated in other places as well. But I'll feel like a duck coming in for a landing on water, you know, I'm coming in for that landing, and I know I'm okay, and I'll get there, and I'll be fine when I open my eyes. So it takes you to a really deep place, and things become very, very clear in that type of meditation. Maybe not in that moment, but maybe the next day in one of those aha moments where you get it, and it's very clear as to the answer to something you may have been looking for. That's a good type of meditation. It takes a little while to learn it and to really get into the nuts and bolts of it. I think for someone just starting out and it's all new to them, I think a guided meditation is probably the best, the easiest, and the fastest way to really feel the immediate effects of meditation. I have worked with people who were really afraid to close their eyes in a group of people. I'll have a group of any age group, maybe 20 or 30 people, and someone will be sitting there with their eyes open the whole time, and you know, I'll ask them if they're okay, and they'll say, well, I just don't feel comfortable closing my eyes in the presence of others, and that's okay too. You can maybe focus on one thing, maybe a candle or a flower, or you know, have an open eye meditation. That's okay too. There are many ways to do it. People don't realize that you could be doing any repetitive task like washing the dishes or mowing the lawn, and it's a repetitive task where you're in that zone and you don't realize anything else going on around you. So you're in a meditative state without realizing it sometimes.
It's like, I hate to throw this example in there, but it's like people who go to the restroom and sometimes you forget. Because you're so used to doing it all the time. Okay, that was a better time. Anyway.
You got that.
But I can remember when I was a career counselor with Employment Service, and one of the things that I used was and I would suppose that was a guided meditation, because I would have the people, because sometimes people get very agitated, you know, and very anxious, and they do need to calm down in the light. So I would get them to close their eyes and just tell them to, you know, think of themselves as being in a certain setting. And usually, you know, it was looking out over the ocean and listening to the waves and all that kind of stuff. And you do that, you know, and people start to calm down, and they start to, you know, the picture and feel the waves. And water has a way of calming people very well, very easily. My husband does that all the time whenever he's, you know, he needs to calm down. He likes to go to the beach and just sit there and watch the waves. But it does have a very, very calming effect. And then once a person is calmed down, because as long as you're hyper, you really, it's very difficult to think clearly. But once you calm down, generally you can then things start to kind of order themselves a little bit better. Now, besides the meditation, and you do yoga as well.
Yes.
And eating right, because it's so key and so important for people to eat right. Exercise, you feel, is important. And when people say exercise and then they say, I do yoga, is that considered an exercise? I know there are different ways and different parts of it that can and would be exercise, but are they in the same category?
I would say yes. Yoga is a different type of workout. With yoga, you have an inner workout going on as well. For example, when we start a yoga class, the first thing I'll say to the students is set your intention, whatever your intention is, so you have something to focus on. Maybe it's peace or harmony or joy within yourself, or abundance, prosperity, whatever one word you wish to focus on. And so I'll have them focus on that. So yoga is an inner and an outer workout. When you're doing your yoga practice, you're stretching, and when you have a really good stretch, whether it's stretching from the left side over to the right side of the body, or the right to the left, or maybe a forward stretch, or maybe what we call downward dog, and all the different postures, a sun salutation, you're really stretching. Not just lifting your hands up, but you're really stretching and feeling that stretch. And I could tell the next day if I had a really good yoga stretch the night before in my class. but it is an inner workout as well. Something like just taking a walk or riding a bicycle. Sometimes people feel they have to join a gym, but maybe it's too costly. We don't really need to join a gym, even though it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing at all. But we don't need to spend money for exercise. We could just use what we have, take a bicycle ride or take a walk. Half hour a day is really all that's necessary. I think everything in moderation so that we don't feel like we're going on a diet or going on an exercise program. I don't have
It's a
time.
job.
Yeah. Then there's no fun in it. Just making it a daily practice. I always tell my students just move more and eat less. And then you won't have to worry about a diet or an exercise program. Just, park a little further away, maybe walk a little bit, or maybe take the steps instead of an elevator. There are ways we can do it.
And the truth is that if we feel better about ourselves,
Yes.
because any exercise program, whatever it is you're into, if you don't feel good about you, then it's not going to be lasting or it's not going to work. And I think for a lot of exercise things that we get into, it should start with you feeling good and better about you, because a lot of that stuff, the overeating and everything else sometimes is to make up for some way that we don't feel that great about us.
Yeah,
Right?
that's right. And we have to be conscious of that. And that's where the meditation comes into play, so we become more conscious of those things. So, the one bite of chocolate cake, that's okay. I don't feel guilty. But if I eat the entire cake,
I've eaten an entire box of ice cream. I don't feel guilty either. I should. But you're right. There is like you said, moderation. Excess of anything really is that thing then being in control as opposed to you being in control.
Absolutely.
Would you agree?
That's absolutely. It's like that's controlling you rather than you controlling it. So when we're in control of our thoughts, which is where meditation comes in, and then you find everything else falls nicely into place. That you enjoy your exercise program, whatever it is, whether it's walking or riding your bicycle or yoga or whatever it is you enjoy. You're not looking forward to it as something you have to do, but something you enjoy doing. So making it a daily practice, it's really a daily practice for living.
Right. Now, when you talk about holistic health then, are you then talking mind, body, and soul, all those things that we've talked about? Share with us what you feel is so key and important in terms of holistic health.
Yes, holistic meaning the whole body, treating the whole body, everything you just said, the mind, the spirit, the emotions, the physical body. We have all these bodies. It's not just the one physical body, but we do have the emotional body, the mind. Everything works together. And so we have to work everything together by feeding our soul with our prayer, meditation, and sitting in the silence, which I love to call PMS. That's how I grab everybody's attention in the class with that. And doing our daily exercise without it being a chore, eating properly, being mindful of the proper foods so that we don't end up with that brain fog and all that mind chatter and all the craziness going on in our minds. So just being mindful of what we do, mindful of how we eat, mindful of how we act, our daily actions, everything we do. So it's the whole body, everything together, not just exercising, we're not just going on a diet or not just doing the meditation. It's a little bit of everything. And just making it a daily practice, and you find that you really enjoy it and you look forward to it.
Now, even though you started getting into the health and fitness as a result of a health issue, how long have you been at it so far?
That's a good question. It was April 2nd, 1990 that I had the renal carcinoma surgery, and I didn't know it would be such a life-changing event, and I wrote several magazines, articles that were published, The Gift of Cancer, and that's a real attention grabber because no one looks at cancer as being a gift, but it really was a gift because it brought me to where I am now, taking good care of myself and helping other people take care of themselves. And when I have people come back to me a year later or 2 years later, I even had students today come up to me and tell me that just the class they took with me a year ago helped them so much. And that means so much to me that I helped somebody change their life for the better. And that's what it's all about. We're here to support each other.
Absolutely.
We're here to be of service to each other, and that's my way of doing it.
Now, you're an instructor as well,
Yes,
right?
yes.
You teach on these subjects?
I do. I teach the student success courses at Daytona State College, and a huge part of it is nutrition, wellness. A lot of that, we focus a lot on wellness, on daily well-being, how to take care of ourselves, which integrates everything we spoke about, including self-discipline, self-management, time management skills. A lot of people have trouble with that, and so it's integrating everything. And sometimes when I present the whole package at the beginning of class to people, they'll say, "Oh my gosh, I don't know if I could do this." Well, yeah, you can. You know, just a little bit at a time. Just take baby bites, little baby steps. You don't have to do it all at once. Don't go home and throw out all your food that has processing or white flour. Just take baby steps.
Yeah, and one of the things that I've noticed, because I spend a lifetime probably dieting one way or the other, but one of the things that I have learned, and I've been reading that lately too, and that is that every so often it's not a bad thing, and it's possibly a good thing to go off a diet, to splurge a little bit. Don't go crazy with it, but splurge a little bit. So my husband and I, every so often we'll get, I go to an ice cream shop and have some ice cream, or we'll go and he loves the one dessert a week. I don't know how he can keep himself with that, but because desserts are mine, oh goodness. But he'll do the one dessert a week, but sometimes we do that dessert together, type thing. I am terrible because if I buy a cake, I was brought up with the idea that you don't waste and you don't throw anything away. If I buy a cake and it's just us, if he doesn't eat it, then I just gotta eat that cake. And so what I try to do actually is sneak it into the church so other people can help me. But it's good to every so often, because like you're saying, you want to have fun at it,
Yes.
And especially as you get older, there are people who will be told, stop smoking because it's going to cause cancer, you're going to die from it. And then people say, well, I got to die from something, which is terrible. But the bottom line is that what you need to do is maybe, if you can't give it up at least enough so that then maybe you cut it back to once, like you were saying, transition into it.
Yeah.
If you're smoking a pack a day, cut it down to half a pack, or eventually cut it down to 3 cigarettes a day, or whatever else to transition yourself out of it. Rarely can somebody go cold turkey. My mom did that when she was smoking. She went cold turkey, and that was it. And she smoked for about 40, 50 years. But it's not something that most people can do. So it's good to actually kind of transition a little bit. And like I said, you're being a life coach. You're really helping people in terms of the healthy side of it. Can you give us an example of some success stories or examples of people you've worked with where it actually, just so people can know, besides yourself, because you're living proof as well, that it does work. It really does work.
That's a good question, Gwen. A student recently shared that she did take baby steps trying to lose some weight, because she went on diet after diet and nothing ever worked, because as soon as she went off the diet, she would gain the weight back again. So she tried to do just baby steps, just a little at a time, and yeah, she had that extra piece of cake. So what? Don't beat yourself up over it. Don't feel guilty about it. Move on. Don't spend the whole day just eating and eating and eating because you just messed up that one time.
Right.
You had an extra piece of cake. Not a bad thing to do. It's okay. We have to do that. We have to live in the real world.
Right.
So that's okay to do that. But she shared that she lost, I think it was 30 pounds over the course of a year, where she was trying to lose that in a matter of a few weeks. And I said, well, you know what? You didn't gain it in a few weeks. You're not going to lose it in a few weeks.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now you talked, when I heard you speak to the Women's Network, you were talking about the white clouds or
yes, okay.
Could you share that with us?
Oh, yes. Yeah, we talked about that today in the Student Success class, how the white foods create the clouds and give us that brain fog, and the white foods being white flour, white sugar, white pasta, white rice. These are what are all the refined, processed foods that have all the chemicals and stuff that we don't need. They're stripped of the actual nutrients, like white rice is stripped of the nutrients to make it look pretty. Who knew? Who cares? You know, we need the brown rice. That's what we need, not the white rice. So it's the white foods that create the clouds. The clouds in the brain. You know, it's just a metaphor that we like to use to help people see where the processed foods are not the foods that we should be eating, and these are the foods that we see on the market all the time. So again, we need to eat the way our ancestors ate, how it comes out of the ground. That's how we need to eat. So we're best eating plant-based foods, plants and fruit and things that come out of the ground without being sprayed, without the bug spray and all the chemicals and pesticides that are put on our foods.
Do you do a lot of shopping at the markets, at the you know, where they sell the fresh foods, the farmers markets and the like?
Yes, and the local vegetable stores as well. Yes, so it's easier to buy organic now than it has ever been.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
What's for yourself? And I know you don't want to maybe put yourself out there as an example, but you've been doing this for several years now. And what's a typical schedule that you have, let's say, in a week?
For eating and just doing everything
and
that
doing
I
the
talk
wholeness,
about?
yeah.
Sure. Well, my breakfast will consist of yogurt and fruit, and that's very, very satisfying. The Greek yogurt has a good amount of calcium and protein, so that keeps me going. What I do so that I don't feel my blood sugar level drop, I'll eat about every maybe hour and a half to 2 hours, meaning an hour and a half later I'll have an apple. And if it's still not time for lunch yet, maybe I'll have a banana. You know, have something really healthy, a good granola bar. You know, that's very satisfying as well. And then I'll eat a huge salad every day. Salad is basically what I eat. I'll eat tuna fish maybe a couple of times a week, maybe salmon once a week, chicken maybe once a month, really not that often at all. Only just to break up the boredom of eating the same thing over and over again. But basically vegetables, I love soup. I find soup to be very fulfilling. There's so many great soups out there, and there are great soup recipes that you can make that are meatless soups. So I'll eat soup several times a week as well. Smoothies, I love smoothies. I'll make my own smoothies with fruits and veggies. Salads, smoothies, soup, wrap sandwiches that are filled with veggies. So I eat a lot of vegetables. I'll go into the market and buy a whole boatload of vegetables, cook them all up on a weekend, and then put them in little plastic containers and keep them in the freezer during the week so that I'm not making vegetables all week long. I just take it out and let them defrost.
Now, I think you told me, or you told us at the group that you actually used to be heavier than you are.
Not that much. Probably the most I ever weighed was about 16 pounds more than I weigh now. And that really scared me. That was the most I had ever weighed. So I've been maintaining my weight where I am now for about 5 years. And I found it very easy to do. Just by the way, I just explained how I eat, really. Soup plays a huge role. Soups and smoothies. Very filling, very nutritious.
And do they then, I've often wondered about this because I do some smoothies as well. And of course I do the juicing. You know, one of the things, and I would just share this with our listening audience, because I did put a lot of money into the juicers. And I find that a lot of people do, and you know, after about a month or so, you don't do it as often. And then after a while, you know, you do it every so often, and you really almost have to force yourself to do it again, and you've got all that money into the equipment. And that's why people, if you got friends that are doing the juicing thing, wait a couple of months, and they will offer to sell it to you for love. That's terrible to say probably, but the juicing really is good for you. But anyway, I do enjoy doing that. But I find that, and I'm wondering if when you do the juicing and you do the smoothies, the fact that a lot of that is really liquefied, if that's really helping you, because our body's made up of so much liquid, and the liquid as opposed to the more solid will probably do more to help you in terms of any weight maintenance as opposed to, and possibly loss as opposed to a lot of the heavy eating that you can do.
I prefer smoothies to juicing. Juicing, I feel like I'm losing a lot of the pulp and the heaviness of the fruit that I would rather just crunch into the apple and eat the apple than make juice out of it. So I'd rather do that. With a smoothie, I throw everything in. You throw in the stems and the seeds and the corn, the whole thing. And a lot of people go, oh my goodness, doesn't that taste horrible? No, it doesn't. It tastes great.
Oh,
so,
wow.
I just throw everything and the entire apple goes in.
And that's good for your colon and all of that, in truth.
Yes.
I'm wondering in terms of, one of the things that I read when I was reading your bio, that do you still do and arrange retreats for people? And do you find that to be useful for people to just get away?
Yes, what I've been doing now is the third Saturday of the month, actually. It's an afternoon retreat, and I rent one of the units at the Sunshine Park Mall in South Daytona. It's from 2 to 5 on a Saturday, and I do it with my friend Ed Eisler, who has Eisler Therapeutics. He teaches Qigong, food-based healing, and yoga. He does most of that at our retreats, and I focus on the 3 types of meditation, guided meditation, transcendental meditation, and mindfulness. So we have a nice mix of different things that we do, and people just love it. It's a good getaway for once a month for 3 hours, and it's free. If people want to donate, they can. We gratefully accept donations, to help keep the lights on and the air conditioning going in the place. But it's a lot of fun, and we just started.
Let me just I need to do a commercial break. You're listening to Truth with Gwen Azama-Edwards. My guest is Kathleen Zurenko, and Kathleen is a health coach. And this is WLE 1380 AM on your radio dial in Ormond Beach, Florida. It's also Goliath Radio and Big Radio 1380.com. Kathleen and I are talking about good things that you need to do in terms of holistic health, in terms of being healthy, staying healthy, and it's about mind, body, and soul, and she's a great person to connect with. And she's talking about something that you do. You said how many Saturdays a month?
The third Saturday.
Third Saturday of each month, where individuals can come, and it's a 3-hour retreat type of a thing, where you go through a lot of different stuff between yourself and the other individual who's there with you.
Yes.
And you said this is free. Where do you do it?
We do it, it's unit number 25 inside the Sunshine Park Mall in South Daytona. So it's a good sized unit. We've had 30 people in there. Last year when we first started doing them, we had 61 people showed up, which really surprised us because only about 20 people responded. And they just kept coming in the door. So it was just wonderful.
And when you do that, do you get into the I know he gets into, I think, I used to do it, the different types of, I want to call it the right name that he does with the, not Kung Fu, but
with Tai Chi.
Tai Chi, yes. And you get into the yoga and different things with that?
Yes, yoga and mindfulness meditation, transcendental meditation, and guided meditation. So we do a lot, and we give people a break in between so that they can absorb it, because they go out of there with a lot. It's a very enriching experience.
And can you come back again? Time and time again?
Oh yeah, we've had people come. People that started coming to us last year when we started this, they've been back again, yes.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah,
and I keep saying I'm going to go, but okay, it's the third Saturday. It starts at
2 until 5.
2 to 5.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. So you can do what you got to do in the morning and then have 2 to 5, the third Saturday, and that's the Sunshine Mall. Okay, and 2 to 5, right?
Yes, from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m.
Okay.
And unit number 25.
Unit number 25. How long have you been doing it there?
We started last year, I think it was last July, the summer of 2012, we started doing it. We did it on and off, and then we went around to different places. We did it at an organization in Orlando. They invited us to do it there, and then in Edgewater. We went to another organization there. So we went to a few different places to do it. But it's really a lot to travel around and pack up all our stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So we thought, well, if we do it here and just keep the one space and keep doing it that way until maybe we have a permanent space at some time.
Yeah, because I would think even people who are coming from outside of the area, for the one Saturday a month, they can get on the interstate and just travel on to be there. Because the types of things that we've been talking about, the things that you cover, are things that will help an individual for the whole rest of the week, rest of the month.
Yes, yes. And people tell us, people that we met for the first time last year, coming back again this year and telling us how much they really enjoyed and have really kept with it. Even when they sort of fall off the wagon once in a while, and you get back on it, because that's how it works.
Now, do you do various age groups, or you find similar, that there's a concentration of a particular age group that will want to do what you guys provide?
We have all ages, Gwen. At one point, I was focusing on the baby boomer group, those born between 1946 and 1964. And there's a huge group of women out there, so we were just focusing on women for a while. But we found that it was limiting because other people wanted to come too. Women wanted to bring their husbands and boyfriends, and we thought, well, you know what, we really do have to open this up. And then we had some younger women who were in their 40s that they wanted to come but didn't want to feel out of place. So we stopped focusing on the baby boomer group and just opened it up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So now you've got all age groups from 40s up.
We've had people in their 20s. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
All 20s up till 70s, really. Really.
Because, and what we're talking about, this is something that can help anybody, because if there's a way that you can calm things down and really be at peace with yourself and your environment, I mean, if you can get that going, you can do almost anything, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. And just the way you said it was so calm.
Yeah. You tell I used to do counseling, right? And I had some cases, believe me, that I calmed down quite a bit. And it's just so true, just totally, totally true. Now, for when you're not doing the Saturday a month, do you actually, and you're not instructing, do you have cases of people that you work with then as a health coach?
I do, yeah, I do life coaching. People come to my home. I don't have a separate office, but I have a separate room in my home that I use, and people do come in for counseling. Yes, I do 1 hour counseling, or if they want longer than that as well, I keep it very affordable. It's actually $1 a minute. So if somebody wants 60 minutes of counseling, it's $60, 90 minutes of counseling, $90. So I do have people come in for life coaching, and many times it's about careers or family or finances, health issues. I think nowadays people are more focused on health than anything else.
Right, right.
So people come in, they want to talk about health issues and how do I take care of this without going to a doctor, and how do we do this?
One of the other things that I have read too is that, and I think I've kind of alluded to it earlier, that depending upon our state of mind, our level of anxiety, how concerned and that we are about a situation, just how torn up we are about it, all the emotional baggage that we bring to it, it really doesn't help the situation, it worsens it. So what you do and persons like you do to help us find some peace and reduction in the anxiety and the like, I think helps us health-wise overall. Even before we do any exercise or watch what we eat or whatever, you need to get your mind under control, and you need to really and truly get it to the point where you can think more clearly, and get to the point too, as I've said too, where you can feel better about yourself. The counselor's coming out of me now, but in regards to what you're doing in particular, in talking with, you say you have a success class to help young people. You have what you're doing on the Saturdays and the like, and then the individual things that you're doing, the one-on-one. Do you think that there's a need for more of that in our society, given where we are and what's going on in the world.
Absolutely. In fact, that's why I'm having my 14th Holistic Health Fair this Saturday.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we get about 1,000 visitors and over 100 vendors, and it's all pertaining to holistic health. We have acupuncturists there, representatives from health food stores. We've got massage therapists, yoga demonstrations, all kinds of things, and it's free.
Oh, and where?
It's indoors at the Sunshine Park Mall. That's this Saturday. It's our 14th event.
And the time for?
It's from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m.
Wow.
And it's basically to do that, to raise awareness of wellness resources in this area. There are more and more therapists and yoga studios and people offering massage and Reiki and acupuncture and all kinds of alternative health therapies, so that we don't have to run to the doctor and take another pill and take another pill on top of that one and get ourselves really messed up. So we can do this.
Do you find that there are more and more, because I hear that when I talk with various people who are chiropractors and the like, how more and more doctors are looking at the holistic approach?
Yes, I do hear a lot about that. I don't know if our medical community is totally there yet, because they focus on pharmaceuticals and that's what they do. God bless them. But this is to do life without that, without the pharmaceuticals. And yes, there are times where we do need to see a doctor for something, and there is a medicine that would be needed to correct something. But there are other ways to do it. I remember that wonderful quote that I shared with my students, that Hippocrates said many thousands of years ago, make the farm your pharmacy. So everything we need is in the ground. It's in our foods. So this teaches us, we have people out there that know how to teach that, the chiropractors and the wellness coaches that are out there and the health coaches and all the different modalities that are there. We bring them all together at the Holistic Health Fair to support the community.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah.
And I had a young chiropractor on a few years ago, and we were talking about how many of us seem to be feeding our children even the medications. You know, you want to calm them down, so you give them medication to calm them down, medication to put them to sleep, medication to wake them up. And all of that takes its tolls. And then when they grow up and they're older, and as someone was saying, you know, they're on medication, so that keeps them out of the armed forces many times and keeps them from actually being able to do something that's really more positive and more of an independent type of a living situation for them. And too many times, I think we're dependent on medication for every single, and we found that the antibiotics, dependency on that has led to a lot of problems.
That's right.
So now they're decreasing that.
Right.
They're decreasing the use of it. So doing more that's natural is key and important, I think, to America getting over this obesity hump, you know,
Right.
And really and truly getting healthier. And I'm seeing, and I need to mention that there is a young group, and I don't have their information, but they are opening, and hopefully they've done it by now. If not, they will have by the end of, by next week. And they're opening it's not just a juice bar, it's a juice and smoothie bar downtown on Beach Street.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
and,
Lauren, come
yes,
here. You'll be
thank
at my
you.
show again.
Yes. Wonderful.
Yeah,
wonderful.
we'll be handing out samples.
Okay, and they will be there this
Yes.
weekend. Wonderful,
Yes.
wonderful. That's
Yes.
exactly what I'm talking about. And they're
Yeah.
going to open their place on Beach Street. They have
Yes.
been talking about Mary McLeod Bethune. They weren't able, that fell through, but they're going to open a place on Beach Street. So I want you guys to go there, and I want you to patronize them, and hopefully the first of some others that will come, because that's the type of thing that we need as a part of our being healthy. We've covered several things. Is there anything I've not covered that you feel is important for people to know, besides how they can contact you, of course?
They can contact me either through my email, or our website is holisticfairs.com, and it's a holistic with a W, so it's WHOLISTIC, and then fairs, FAIRS, so
Okay.
holisticfairs.com. So they can look up the website and see pictures of previous events that we've done and different things about what we do. Or my email is kzdab@bellsouth.net if anybody would like to email me, if anybody has questions or would like me to sit with them one-on-one to chat or to coach or whatever, I'd be very happy to.
And I think you mentioned too, you do the instruction, you do this Saturday thing once a month, you do the one-on-one, but you're also willing to get with employers, aren't you, if they want to work out something for their employees? Because I think more and more employees are going that way. We were talking about people saving money, you know, without going to the gyms and the fitness things, and now with a lot of the healthcare programs, they actually are providing that for you for free. I like doing that, but I like a mix, actually, because I think going to the gym is great, but you can overdo it. Walking is good, and it's nice to have a mixture of things that you can do because it keeps your body, I think, wondering what's coming up next, and that kind of will make you lose some more weight, more than you think. But are you available for employers if they wanted to get with you to work something out with your employees? Because I think this would be something great for employers who really want to help their employees who may feel uncomfortable going to a gym, or they may feel uncomfortable doing something with a group until somebody's gotten with them one-on-one to make them, help them feel more comfortable with it, more comfortable with themselves. And then they will open themselves up, I think, to doing more in a group setting and the like. As the person you were talking about who sits there and they can't close their eyes because they're not used to doing that.
Right.
You know, it takes for some people some other things going on to get them to the point where they feel more comfortable. And that's all about learning how to relax.
Yes.
I know, you know, even when I go and get my nails done, my nail technician will say, hold still. He said, loosen up, loosen up. And you know, many times we're not aware of just
That's
how
right.
intense we are.
That's right, yes.
And how anxious we are. And I'm one of those people, you know, it's like we talk about how quickly we want to get something done. I'm one of those people, I don't want to wait too long or whatever. And we really need to learn patience. We really need
That's
to learn
right.
patience.
That's right.
And I would think that a lot of what you're doing actually will teach us and help us to be more patient, to allow time to evolve things and work things out.
Yes, absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
I'm going to come there. I really am going to come. And, when is the next one? Is
The third Saturday, I think that might be November 16th, maybe? Is that
somewhere
right?
in there?
Somewhere in
Okay.
there, yeah.
All right. I'm going to make sure that I put that on my schedule and try to get there and do that. And remember, guys, free, F-R-E-E, free. You can't get better than that. And this weekend, as you said, you're having
Yes, the 14th Holistic Health and Community event. And we added the word community in there because a lot of people have other things, especially this time of year. People start thinking about holiday shopping. And I have people that want to bring magnetic jewelry. And other types of jewelry and beading and things of that nature, and a gentleman who makes 3D signs will be there. So there's some wonderful gifts, and the health food stores always have gift baskets to sell and to give away and gift certificates. So it's a really good place to start healthy holiday shopping.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I'm going to tell my mother-in-law, if you're not listening, mother-in-law, I will give you a call because she loves this stuff. I mean, she is a cancer survivor, 3 years now, and she did it all of it holistically. And I'm going to bring my husband because he really wants to get Larry, I know you're listening, a massage. He really wants to get a massage.
Oh, we have plenty of those.
Yes, and he wants to get, something, men, they're particular about who does this, that, and the other. Not me. If they're good, they got their hands working, okay, so as we close, I thank you really for coming on. I thank you for sharing, and I know we've just tipped that. It's just the tip of the iceberg in terms of all that knowledge and information that you have to share, that you share with people as an instructor. You're sharing with them, like I said, one-on-one. You're sharing with them on these Saturdays, and you can tell when someone is passionate about what they do, number one. but also compassionate too in terms of dealing with people. When you do stuff like this and you do it for free and you're not out there, you know, penny-ante somebody to death, and I'm sure you find that it pays off in the long run.
It does.
You know?
It does. It's
Yeah.
so wonderful, as I said, when people come back and say, wow, Kathleen, that really helped. Just helping one person makes all the difference, and I know I've helped more than that, and that's God working through me.
Oh,
you know,
yes.
I let God work through me. I don't feel like I'm doing anything. I think, God, use me. You do the work. I'll be the instrument.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that is your calling, you know. And I tell people that everything that you go through in life, whether you cause it, somebody else caused it, whatever, God can use all of that, the good, the bad, the ugly, and work it into a purpose, a God-given purpose for you, and put you to work in doing something that's kingdom building. All you gotta do is be open to it, you know? There are people who will see things that are going on and they just take it very, very negative, and they're saying, why is this happening to me? Why is this happening to me? Instead of saying, as my husband loves to say, why not? And, you know, this happened, that happened, let me see now. Could it be that it's happened for a reason and that I can learn from this, I can grow through this? And that's the example of what you have done and what you went through. And now you're out there helping other people and sharing what God has given you. Isn't it exciting?
Yes, it is.
It's
It really
really
is.
exciting.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about it too. Thank you.
And I thank you, I truly do. And for our listeners, we will have this up on YouTube, so I'm going to ask you to give your information once more. So we've got it at the tail end of our recording, and we've got it at the tail end of the video too.
Okay, yes, my email is kzdab@bellsouth.net, or if anyone would like to call, leave a voice message as well, 386-248-1868, and the website is holisticfairs.com, and it's holistic with a W, WHOLISTICFAIRS.com.
All right. Well, thank you to Kathleen and Kathleen Zurenko.
Yes.
And
Very good.
she has a master's in.
Consciousness studies.
All right. Praise God.
Yes.
And she's a health coach. She's a holistic instructor. She's all that you need in getting yourself together holistically, your mind, body, and soul. So I do want you to contact her. And guys, you know, happy Halloween, all that good stuff, okay? It's October 31st, 2013. But remember to join us, guys, every Thursday night, starting at 6:15, as I say, whenever I boot the big guy out of the chair, as we discuss issues, that's patience that I've learned, as we discuss issues to inform and empower y'all listeners. Also, be sure to go to the website at www.gwen-truth.com. Until next time, guys, be informed, be empowered, and stand tall for that which is right and truthful. Again, this is Truth with Gwen Azama-Edwards, my guest, Kathleen Zurenko, and like you, we're still standing. You be blessed and have a great and fantastic week. You know, life can be great. It's all how you see it. And what you do with what you're fed, right? It's like they say you have lemons, make some lemonade, right? You got some lime, make some limeade. Oh, praise God. You be blessed and just have a super, super dynamic, great week. God is good. Be blessed. Bye.
Wow.
Truth with your host, Gwen Azama-Edwards, exclusively
Thank you.
Thursday night on W.